Very much, Madam Chair. I'm a proud elected member of this House. Like everyone in this place, I was sent here by my constituents to fulfil the greatest honour of my life for as long as the people of Leeds South West and Morley give me permission to do so. Now, I've heard the opposition frontbench state today that this bill is not based on principle, merely on political advantage. The truth is that serving in Westminster should never be an inalienable birthright. That is a basic principle that I think we can all get behind. Now, the very concept of hereditary peers remains indefensible in the 21st century. We are one of only 2 nations that currently has them. There should not be 92 reserved seats in the other place for people born into the correct families. I think it is time to end this now. Now, the bill not only sets out our ambition to remove this archaic right, it also shows our determination to make our democracy stronger and more representative. It is just the start of our commitment to reform the other place and improve its ability to do what we were all sent here to do, and that is serve the public. It's right that after this immediate start on hereditary peers, the government will take time to consider how best to implement further reforms with the public and peers heavily involved in those discussions. And given the enthusiasm on the benches opposite for the changes that might be coming, I look forward to seeing them leading the charge with us to reform the other place. Now, with that said, there has been some confusion on those benches opposite about their position during this bill. I did enjoy during the second reading that there were suggestions we were going too far, and I also enjoyed the suggestions that we weren't going far enough. They appear to want more debate on the broader changes that we are suggesting for the other place, but they spent their time in government blocking such changes in over a decade. Zero progress. I will happily give way to whichever is more enthusiastic.
Timothy. I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman and to my right honourable friend. He's made an argument that's based on the principle that hereditary peerages are wrong. Can he give us a clear argument in principle as to why he believes that a lifetime peerage should be acceptable and a part of our constitution in which those peers can legislate for an entire lifetime, for decades, without any kind of accountability at all?
Thank you. I'm very grateful to the honourable gentleman for his intervention. I would state that hereditary peers are there because they are born into that family. That cannot be right. Life peers are there because they are appointed, usually because of their expertise that they can offer during the scrutiny of legislation that passes through this place. So I would suggest that life peers definitely have the advantage over hereditary peers, simply because they're not there because of the family they were born into. I will give way.
And I thank the honourable member for his generosity in giving way. And I think he makes a very persuasive argument and a very strong argument. What right does he think that the Bishop of Winchester has to vote on matters to do with his constituents in Leeds South West and Morley and my constituents of Stone, Great Worley and Penkridge? What gives that bishop the right in order to be able to be a legislator? What's the argument?
That's a good question.
I'm grateful for his intervention, and I have read his amendment and I understand the arguments that he's making, but the changes we're proposing today are quite simply a down payment on the broader changes we will be bringing to the other place. And when we do bring those other changes forward, I look forward to marching side by side along with him through the I chamber. Now, I would gently suggest that many of the problems in our country today have been made significantly worse because the Conservative Party have often prioritised keeping their factions happy ahead of any coherent policy making for our country. I do think we've seen a microcosm of that today, and I think we saw it as well during the second reading. Now, with most of the amendments that we've seen submitted in the third reading, it does appear that they don't have a problem with the substance of the change that we're offering. So I look forward to seeing many of them march through the I lobby with us. I do note that the other place does play an incredibly important role in our democracy. They do both scrutinise and improve legislation passed in this place, which has been very welcoming, depending on who you ask, over many years. But the change we're considering today is very simple, and it's necessary to fulfil the promise that we made at the general election, that we would end the outdated practice of hereditary peers. Now, I may not look it, Madam Chairman, but I am old enough to remember the last Labour government. They started the process of reforming the other place, and it was clear then, as it is now, that it was a transitional compromise. It may have taken a while, but it falls on this government to see through the work they started. This is an incredibly simple and effective change to the other place, and I urge all members of this House to support it.